What's going on, friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today. What I wanted to discuss was altcoin season. Knowing a lot of people in this space, that's one of the first things you get into is altcoin. You see how expensive Bitcoin is, and you say, hey, I want to get some of these altcoins, and you start piling some altcoins. We've all been there. We've all done it. And the more that I thought about it, I said, I want to really find some good solid proof and some evidence about how money flows. Now, what this is coming from, this is the technical analysis of stock trends by Robert D. Edwards. But what this says is high grade issues, and we want to relate this to Bitcoin. This was written in terms of stocks, but relate this to Bitcoin. High-grade issues, the active market leaders and perhaps some stocks of a more conservative nature will tend to start their moves in a bull market fairly early and continue their advance at a fairly steady pace. Eventually, they will reach their tops and make a reversal pattern. They will decline from this point, probably at a steeper average angle than the ascent. Now here, this is basically describing altcoins for us here. Then low-priced and low-grade issues, on the other hand, tend to be slow in getting started, will remain dormant during the early phases of the bull market, and will then suddenly and spectacularly skyrocket in a series of moves that brings them to their ultimate top. However, this top is likely to be reached at a later point, perhaps weeks later, than the point at which many of the more conservative stocks, Bitcoin, topped out. The speculative group will then drop very fast and will return to the dead levels of an action before the conservative group has finished its more leisurely major decline. So what I relate this to is Bitcoin. And guys, one of the biggest mistakes is, and I've made this myself, is not being in Bitcoin as much as you should be in Bitcoin. You look for those more speculative assets and you think, if Bitcoin's going up, it's going to drag these up with it and they're going to probably outpace Bitcoin. But many times that's not the case. Many times in this 4-year market cycle, if this is still going to hold up for us, if you're in altcoins, you're going to spend about 3.5 years or so in pain. And until you see this Bitcoin dominance, like you saw back in here, we are all the way up. And this was Monday, the 28th, December of 2020. And right here, we got up to a high of about 74%. And once this dominance started to really drop, and you can see this nice long wick up here, this is a big indicator, especially on a weekly time frame like we're on right now, this big long wick here. When Bitcoin dominance started to drop and it had this waterfall moment here, this is when, you can go back on the charts, this is when altcoins did the best. And you saw that money rotate from Bitcoin into the altcoins as people are looking for higher gains. And that's the thing, guys, this market is just, run by greed. And these people aren't going to be happy with the moves that Bitcoin's going to make from here to the final top. They're looking for more percentage gain, and that's when typically you'll see that switch from Bitcoin into some of these altcoins, and then they really start to pump. But the most important thing is here, guys, I'm not saying Bitcoin dominance has topped here. Looking at this long wick right up here, this is a wick of roughly, let's see here, about 5%. So this could be an indication that the local top is in, at least for the Bitcoin dominance. But we can't neglect the fact that we've been in an uptrend here. We're trading up above our 50-week moving average. We've had a really nice uptrend on heavier volume. If we take a look at our money flow, we're at 0.04, so that has been a little bit lower. So on this last push up, we ended up getting to a money flow of around 29. Right now, we've pushed up again, and it's on less money flow. MACD still to the positive here. Lazy bear squeeze is in the green. But when we're looking at this, we really want to see that Bitcoin, if you're in altcoins, and we're discussing altcoins here, you want to see that Bitcoin dominance start to fall. We need that push down and then a lower high and have this be the local top for us. But typically that's what happens, guys. You're in these coins and you're saying, hey, I really think altcoins are going to outperform, and they lay dormant for so long. And then just like XRP, give you a great example here. Take a look at this for years. And I just wanted to come on here and talk to you for a minute here about all this, because I understand I feel the same emotions. Even being in this space for 7.5 years, I still feel the emotions that many of you guys feel. So you can see these big spikes that come out of nowhere after laying dormant for so long, many times years, and then you get the spike. Look here. I mean, this is 3 or 4 years just down and depressed. Then you get these skyrocket moments. Now, XRP could be ahead of many of these altcoins, but I'm just saying this is how the altcoin market works. You get those really big spikes. And guys, anything that goes up, just to give you an example here, I mean, this went up 625%. I think one of the best things that you can do is to ladder out. So if you get a big spike like this and you're still convinced that it's going to go higher, sell 10%. If it goes higher, sell another 10%, or you could do this in 20% increments. And I think that's the best thing, and it's going to help your emotions, because if it does keep going, you still have a position. Granted, it's not as big as the position, but that's okay. You still have a position, and you're happy that the price is going up. But if it really starts to fall, then you did end up taking some profits there. And that's important for you guys, because these moves happen really fast, and then many times the whole move gets retraced. And this just, you can go through altcoins here, guys. We can go, Cardano will just give you an example. I mean, look at these moves. When they happen, they lay dormant for so long, and then you get these massive moves. You lay dormant so long, then you start to get these moves. Same deal, AVAX. I mean, look at how drastic the moves are to the upside, and then look what you're enduring to the downside here. And that's going to be about 94% to the downside. So it's really important to take profits when you see those big straight lines, and to ladder out, in my opinion, as opposed to just selling everything at one point, because then if it does keep going up, then it's really messing with your psyche as well. And I just think laddering in, laddering out is one of the best things that you can do, guys. That's just my personal opinion. It kind of helps with the emotions. But when we're looking at this, I still believe, and I could be wrong, guys, this is one thing on YouTube. I'll be honest with it. I don't know what's going to happen in this space. Anything can happen with the artificial intelligence, all that's taking place with the trading bots. Anything can happen. But in my opinion, I still believe there is going to be an altcoin season where many of these coins, AVAX, Cardano, Solana, Link, Litecoin, a lot of these coins, they're going to do decent, and you're going to see some of those large spikes. And I think the most important thing is to not be afraid to take those profits, because you really don't want to sit through years and years. Take a look at this, guys, from the high of Avalanche right here, or AVAX. It has been, we have now returned to our all-time high in 1,183 days. It's not the wisest to always just tie up your money for that long. So when you see those big spikes, guys, take the profits, and God bless each and every one of you. I love you. Take care.